In this video we're taking a look at the brand new Brooks Levitate number 4. So here it is, the Levitate 4. Now I'm new to the Levitate series from Brooks, but I'm trying to find out whether this shoe is better than the Ghost 13. Why? Well, because the Ghost 13 has got a 12mm drop and this shoe's got an 8mm drop, and a lot of people don't like the 12mm drop in the Ghost. So I thought, well, you know what, we'll try this out, see if there's much of a difference and whether this is a better shoe or not. So this is for you people more than me. So where do we start with the Levitate 4? Well, let's talk about the sort of updates, features and stats before we get into it. Now, it's quite expensive, this shoe. It's £140 here in the UK, which I think is a lot of money. Brooks shoes seem to be quite expensive at the moment. You've got this DNA AMP or AMP cushioning, which they write is 20% lighter than before, and it's their best energy return in the lineup, which does make me wonder about the DNA Flash midsole, but we'll come on to that later. 8mm drop, like I said before. 10.3 ounces. They've updated the upper. It's a softer, more breathable upper. And they've updated the outsole and given it sort of this more patterned feel to it that supposedly helps with foot strike and all this sort of stuff. Again, good marketing talk from Brooks. So, where do we start? Well, firstly, I think the shoe looks awesome. Now, we shouldn't base reviews on what the shoe looks like. But I do think it looks awesome, and I love this pearlescent effect on the outside. I really do. I love the upper on this shoe. I think it's fantastic. It is quite thick, but actually it's quite breathable and it's really comfortable. I like the tongue. You know, there's a little bit of foam in there, but not too much. It's very minimalistic around the heel area and the heel counter, which has got some support in there. And it's just, yeah, it's just a really nice place to be. The lacing's a bit naff. It's these stupid thin laces. That's the only thing that kind of lets it down on the feel. But it's this one-piece-ish upper, I would say. It does break away here, but it is that kind of one-piece sort of booty-ish kind of upper. It's got like that knit feeling to it. But there's plenty of structure down the side, which is good news. So where do we start? Well, let's get onto the feel, I think. The DNA AMP midsole is, well, it's a little bit firmer than I was expecting. I was looking for it to be a little bit more sort of, I don't know, maybe bouncier. So I was like, okay. It has got better the more I've run in it. It's definitely given me a little bit of a softer ride. So it's, you know, the first 2 times, 3 times you put it on, you will find, I think, that, oh, you go, it's a little bit firmer than I was expecting. But it does come a little bit back at you, but I was and I still am a little bit okay compared to some of the other shoes in the Brooks lineup. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You look at the DNA Flash, you know, like on the Tempo and stuff like that. That is actually quite a firmish ride, and I prefer a slightly firmer ride to something that's too soft, like a Nova Blast, for example. At £140, like I said earlier, I think the shoe is expensive. I do think it offers a sort of funkier, skinnier, sort of revved up version of the Ghost 13. If the Ghost 13 is a little bit too traditional for you and it's a little bit too much with the drop, you do notice the difference between the two when you are running in them in terms of the drop. And I prefer the feel of this shoe to the Ghost, and I really like the Ghost. So I'm not saying the Ghost is a rubbish shoe, because they're actually both good shoes together actually, but I think this is just a little bit more of a, I don't know, I'm going to use really cheesy words, but jazzed up version of the Ghost 13. I prefer the outsole of the Ghost 13 compared to this. It just gives me that little bit more traction. I think this is a great shoe, you know, road running shoe and that sort of stuff. So I think if you're looking at the Brooks range, right? And personally, I would buy the Hyperion Tempo out of all their shoes. But if you're looking for something more of a usable, versatile daily trainer, I think it comes down to the Ghost 13 and the Glycerine 18. I personally would probably still go for the Ghost 13 because for me it offers a little bit more traction. Even there you can see not got that much traction. I would go for the Ghost 13 for me because I'm down the Canal Towpath. But maybe for you guys, if you're just doing road running and that sort of stuff and you don't like a 12mm drop, then I think the Levitate 4 is actually a good sort of medium ground for you. So yeah, that's kind of my recommendation. The fit's true to size, it's nice and wide, it's a Brooks, so it's, you know, fits awesome. But yeah, if you're looking at the Ghost 13 and the Levitate 4, I maybe would be tempted to sort of sway you towards the Levitate 4, but just be aware, I say it is a slightly firmer ride than you're probably thinking, but it is still a good shoe, although an expensive shoe.